Hey, what's going on, vinyl community? It's Tone, and I'm back to do something that I've wanted to kind of start for a little while now. I just needed to make some time and some room to start doing it, and I figured I would start with an album that I have been waiting to come out for a while. And this is a new series I'm going to be doing, a little short series called New Release Review. And we're going to be doing the first one. This is New Release Review number 1 for Dirty Honey. This is their 2021 debut LP release, self-titled. It's almost exactly 1 month old. It was released on April 23rd of this year, about a month ago. And it is the long-awaited follow-up to their 2019 EP of the same name, titled Dirty Honey. The first EP, or the EP, their first release, which was released in the fall of 2019, got amazingly rave reviews. Coincidentally, they're the last band that I saw live last year, February 28th, 2020, before, the world went a little crazy. And I had been following the band before that, even before I picked up the EP, which was about 6 months before that. I've been following the band for about 2 years and was extremely intrigued. You can hear me explain a little bit more about my beginnings with the band. I'll put a link down below from a series that I do called Tone's Live Show Share, where I actually documented the live show and I talked about this record. So I won't get into this record too much right now. But this thing got massively rave reviews, and this thing has been anticipated for a long time. In fact, this one shouldn't technically even be out right now if it wasn't for the state of the world. Right around the time that I saw them last year, I had been hoping for a new record from them, a full-length LP. I knew that they were in the works with it, but there was no talk about when it would be finished or when it would be released. I do remember at the show hearing them talk about this song is going to be on our follow-up album. I think they did two songs that weren't on the EP. One of them isn't on either the EP or the LP. It's called Fire Away, and I'm hoping they release that on physical media as a single. It's fantastic. I'll link to that as well. That was their very first single ever, even before the EP was released. Didn't make the EP, and I was hoping it would make the LP, and it did not. However, they did perform one song during that show that I was confident was going to make the LP because they said it would, and it did. Let's discuss really quickly the track listing, and then I'll go into the packaging. Giving the initial debut EP an absolute 5 stars without even having to think about it. It's just that brilliant of a record. I was expecting the same or better on their full length. And I would have to say, in terms of the release musically, that's what we got. We got a 5-star record. It's composed of 8 separate full-length tracks, no interludes, no intros, 8 full-length songs, 4 on each side of the record, same amount of songs on the compact disc album. Comes in straight black vinyl, and they just released a limited version of 300 that comes on a clear vinyl with a gold and black splatter to kind of match their motif. It's about 300 copies limited. I'm not interested in getting it. I'm very happy with this. I mean, if I come across a copy for for cheap. I'll probably grab it just to have it in the collection. But I'm very happy with the record right now. I don't know where it was pressed. I'm assuming it was pressed at Pirates. I'm assuming. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to find that information. But the record sounds really good. It sounds clean. The mastering was done well. The transition between the tracks is fantastic. I have no complaints sonically with the record. Artistically, in terms of the songs, let's go through them really quickly. On the A side, we have the song that ended up being their first single, called California Dreamin'. And I thought even before the LP came out that that's definitely going to be the title of the record, California Dreamin'. But they stated that they didn't go there because they didn't want to confuse it or compete either nostalgically or in the search engine with the Mamas and the Papas. So they refrained from titling the album anything but self-titled, which is something that kind of bothers me a bit. I can understand how they kind of got away with that, this being an EP, this being an LP. It's not that big of a deal. It's just the title of an album. But yeah, I was sure that was going to be the title, and it wasn't, for the very reason I just mentioned. The first song, California Dreamin', is an absolute beautiful, hooky hard rocker. Extremely reminiscent of, I'm going to say, Back in the Saddle, Aerosmith, and or slightly reminiscent of, let's say, The Hair of the Dog by Nazareth. It's in that vein, and it is just a brilliant song. Maybe a little more hooky, so probably a little closer to Back in the Saddle, but even a little more hooky than that. But in terms of feel, that's what you're getting with their first single, California Dreamin'. And it was done fantastic. The video for it, which I will put a link to below, done beautifully. Fantastic concept. Fits the song great. Doesn't water down the band whatsoever. I mean, in my opinion of these guys, it would be almost impossible to water these guys down. I mean, they just really stay true to that hard and heavy, hard rocking sound via, or in the likes of Aerosmith, Nazareth, Led Zeppelin. So if you're a fan of any of those bands, this thing will fit right into your wheelhouse, no problem at all. The second song, The Wire, that was the song that I saw them perform. And if you follow the link and you do watch that Tones Live show share, you can see them, footage of them performing The Wire. The Wire is an amazingly well-written song lyrically, performed vocally very well. Musically, it falls right in line with their Thumbprint signature sound. It's fantastic. And it's just a great, great, great song. It was out online. You could have heard it and listened to it way before this album came out if you've been following the band. The next song, Tied Up, is another fantastic, a little upper mid-tempo hard rocker with, to me, the first signs of Justin, who's the bass player. Let me go through the band really quickly. The lead singer is Mark LaBelle, and Mark LaBelle is amazing, amazing vocalist that is very reminiscent of Steven Tyler or Robert Plant. To me, he's probably right now in the top 3 best rock vocalists right at this given time. John Notto on guitars. This guy's guitar work is brilliantly representative of Jimmy Page, hands down. Justin Smolian on bass. On the first album, getting back to the song, the first album, Justin's presence was there, but it was very clear that his bass playing was really good accompaniment at best, for the most part. On this record, it seems like they've really let Justin shine with a lot of syncopated bass rhythms, leading the rhythm section above any guitar rhythm and any of the drumming. Just fantastic bass playing by Justin on this record. And on the song Tied Up, amazing start on this album of those really great syncopated bass lines, and just fantastic. The last song on side A is called Take My Hand, and that is a really good stoner rock track. It's kind of reminiscent of, on this record, the song Scars, which is the third song on the B-side. I will link that below too. It's my favorite song off the EP, and that is just a blatant, hard stoner rock track. And in my opinion, Take My Hand, last song on side A, is the song that is mirroring Scars in terms of style. Going to the B-side, Gypsy. Gypsy is a great mid-tempo hard rocker. To me, it's their weakest song on the entire album. But that being said, it's really, really good. So their weakest song being extremely good just goes to kind of highlight how fantastic the rest of this album is. The next two songs on side B, track 2 and track 3, No Warning and The Morning, are two really solid mid-tempo hard rockers that just kind of carry the middle of the second side straight through to the last song on side B, which is called Another Last Time. And it is amazing. I mean, I can't even describe it. It's an amazing hard rock mid-tempo ballad that just ends this album beautifully. I was always impressed by the way that they ended their EP with the song Down the Road, which is another solid, well-written, great vocal melody, beautiful chord progression, mid-tempo ballad, just a fantastic song. And they upped it. They upped it with Another Last Time. I mean, this song is just a soaring, beautiful, fantastic progression of really soaring, especially in the hook, really soaring, open, sustaining chords on the guitar, on John's guitar. Again, beautiful bass line by Justin, beautiful bass line, and just piercingly beautiful, gorgeous vocals by Mark LaBelle. Amazing, amazing mid-tempo rock ballad that does not water down the band or the album whatsoever. It's so good. I'm telling you, Steven Tyler couldn't have even written a better song. Fantastic, fantastic. Getting away from the music, the album comes almost as a negative of the EP, you know, like a negative image of the EP. They didn't get creative with the artwork. They used their band's insignia, which is gaining a lot of popularity, almost for the level that the band is at now. It's almost as signifying as the Rolling Stones' Lip and Tongues, or the Lips and Tongue logo, and Led Zeppelin's Swan Song logo, and things of that nature. It's becoming that iconic for the band. And I was expecting something a little bit different, but I'm not disappointed with the artwork. I think they did that just to kind of almost play off of the EP and say, okay, now we've come to a solid beginning. The backs are almost the same, with just a great picture of the band. That's the EP. And then the LP, it's got a fantastic picture of the band, which looks like in studio. And they take great pictures, these guys. It comes on pretty nice cardstock. It's definitely not cheap. It's not super thick cardstock. That's about a medium gauge cardstock on that. Comes with a printed inner sleeve with lyrics on the back side. A really nice inner sleeve. And then another picture of the band that's superimposed in their logo. I don't know if you can see that. It's a picture of the band superimposed into their insignia. And again, comes on black vinyl. Pretty cool labels. Same on the other side with just the track listing. I wasn't super disappointed with the packaging of the LP. I think they could have put a little bit more thought into it, being as anticipated as this was. The color's nice. It's not just a straight tan. It's almost like a slight tan and white marbling. It's really hard to see on camera, I know. But if you have a copy of it in person, you'll know what I'm talking about. The first EP was released, no label, self-titled self-released by the band themselves through their management company, Red Light Management. Second album, they started their own label called Dirt Records. And so this is actually a bona fide label release on their independent label, Dirt Records. Packaging, I give a 3.5, maybe a 4. It's pretty packaging. It's nice. I think they could have included a download at least, and that may have upped it to a 4.5. So where the music, I give an absolute soaring 5. I'm going to give this a 4 in terms of packaging for the LP. What was a disappointment for me, because I do with a lot of my vinyl, I do assist it with compact disc. Sometimes I want to listen to an album and I don't want to worry about I'm doing something, and I don't want to worry about flipping a record. Or sometimes I just want to hear a digital version of it. I want to hear a different mastering, a different sound. And so I'll put on a compact disc. So I pre-ordered both months and months ago, and this came. And it's almost, I kind of see what they're doing. It is not even a full-size card sleeve. It is a mini LP sleeve per se. Mimicking the album almost to the T. And so I get them doing that, but there's not even an inner sleeve. I mean, you know, the silk screening on the compact disc is done, you know, very well. The mastering on it sounds great. I don't know who did the glass master on it, but it sounds fantastic. But I was just a little disappointed in the compact disc. I would have rather seen a bona fide digipack, or if it was going to be a card sleeve, I would have rather seen maybe a single sleeved gatefold with a picture in the middle, something a little bit more, with as strong of a following and as dedicated as the following that they have. I think that they would have been able to do something like that and adjust the pricing for it, and it would have sold. So I am a little disappointed in this. I know the music's the most important thing, but I am a collector, so, you know, the packaging is important too. So I would give this a 3 on a scale of 1 to 5. In terms of packaging, of course, we've already talked about the music. And what can you do? Still. So if you are collecting CDs, don't be shocked when you get this. It's just a plain sleeve with the CD inside, and that is it, mimicking the album. So in terms of mimicking the album, they did a great job, but I was expecting a little bit more from that. So that's it. Dirty Honey, self-titled LP, long awaited, absolute brilliant 5-star record in terms of the music and the sonics and the production. A 4 on the packaging and a 3 on the packaging on the compact disc. Overall, highly recommended album. If you are a fan, and I've said this many times every time I've mentioned this band, if you're a fan of Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and Led Zeppelin, if you're a fan of Steven Tyler and Aerosmith, and that hard 70s hard and heavy sound, I'm telling you, pick it up. Highly recommended, highly recommended. All right, guys, that's about it for this one. I'll be back with another one shortly. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch. As always, God bless you very richly, and I'll see you soon.